Hello again. It is Wing Nation presented by Hercules Tires, right on our strength, talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week, and we are so glad that you have joined us. Erin, Evernham, and Steve Post, we've got a great show for you, a fun show, a little different tone, a little different format of the show here today. We're going to be a great time, no doubt. We'll tell you about that here in just a little bit, but Erin, how are you? How are things?
I'm good. Very good. Yourself?
Good. Very good. I talked to, last week you and I talked about your trip to Indy.
Yeah.
Where your husband Ray was crew chief for some guy named Jeff.
Yep.
Jeff Gordon. I talked to Jeff Gordon at Kansas.
Yeah.
He had, you talked about how much fun you guys had. Well, he had a ball too.
Yeah.
And, yep, exactly.
See more of those in our future.
I think so too. Yeah, he was just, he said, we just as a team had a blast.
Yeah.
He said it was great working with Ray. You talked about the fact that Saturday after the practice, you all got together at the motor coaches and hung out. He said, we had a blast. And I said, yeah, Erin said everything went well. And he said, well, no, everything didn't go well. The racing didn't go well at all. We've got a lot of work to do there, but we had a great time. So really cool, just so much fun. Jeff Gordon is such a passionate guy.
He really is.
And he's such a, but you know, I was laughing. I'm laughing, okay? You know, he's a big shot over at Hendrick Motorsports.
Yeah.
So here he is walking down pit road, black jeans, white shirt, black vest. I'm like, he's become Rick Hendrick.
Mr. H is mini-me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at him, I'm like, man, the only difference
the
is
vest and the white shirt.
The vest and the white shirt, exactly.
That's funny. Did you bring up the flip cup or no?
No, I didn't bring up the flip cup. I didn't bring up the flip cup.
Remind him that he lost?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see.
Oh, yeah.
So
we went undefeated, the ladies.
There you go. Well, that's cool. That is cool. Fun stuff. Really love his passion for racing. And as we talked about last week, his passion for sprint car racing and the Knoxville Nationals.
Mm-hmm.
I did get a chance this weekend while I was out in Kansas. I went and saw our friends at ASCS. I went and saw Thursday night's race at Lakeside, which was a Sam Hafertepe butt whooping. I mean, son, pump the brakes a little bit. You don't have to be. I mean, Sam was on it.
Yeah.
He was on stun. But it was good. It was good to catch up with everybody. Caught up with our buddy Wayne Johnson. Caught up with Blake Hahn. Caught up. We talked last week about the 305 Nationals. Jake Bubeck, he was there. Chatted with him a little bit about the 305 Nationals that he won. Just cool. Just good stuff.
Yeah.
So
How's Wayne's back doing?
Wayne's back, I think, is all right. He wasn't complaining about his back. He was on to other topics and other things.
Well, he usually keeps his opinions to himself.
Yeah, Wayne does keep his opinions to himself pretty good. So, but no, it was great. It was just really cool. Those of you that know, you guys that follow this, Racing Boys, Scott Traylor, and Scott does a daily podcast, does a nice job with that on his Facebook page. Actually went and did live music with Scott. We went and did barbecue, did his podcast with him live, and Scott has was 14 years with the ASCS National Tour on the road, and he's settled into his basement studio in Kansas City, and really doing well. So it was fun. One other person I caught up with, and he posted this on Facebook a couple of weeks ago, was Tim Crawley. Tim is retiring at the end of this year, and what a career.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been phenomenal. Had the chance to talk with Tim not only Thursday night at Lakeside, but then Sunday he was over at Kansas Speedway. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. hooked him up with some passes and stuff. And so he was there with Landon, his son, and a couple of the crew guys. And, man, I just love Tim Crawley, but it's the timing is right where Tim is at with his driving, his body aches. He told me he had shoulder surgery, and he feels pretty good now from the shoulder surgery during the off season. But he's just at that point. When you look at guys like Tim Crawley, like Wayne Johnson, guys like this, man, they have been beat.
Yeah, that's tough. It's a tough sport, and you think of how many times a year they race. You know, it's a lot. And even if you don't wreck, it's still hard on your body. Yeah,
it really is. And Tim Crawley has something else in his camp that is pretty significant, and it's his son Landon. I saw Landon last year. It was one of his first 360 races down in when I was over at Little Rock, and I thought, man, and the speculation after his 305 successes, this kid's really got the deal. And Tim it's time now to focus on Landon. Tim's had his run. It's time to focus on Landon. We've seen all of these kids that are making all of the headlines, the Corey Days of the world and the Ryan Tims of the world. And I think Landon is every bit as capable as that. the challenge, as Tim sees it, is that nobody is focused on Landon. He's he's our car. I'm driving for somebody else and everything. And I just have a hunch that if you put Tim focusing on Landon
all together,
I think that we're going to include Landon Crawley in that list of young hotshots we need to keep. We already do need to keep that on there. He finished 5th on Saturday night with the national tour. But I think you put a little direction there and leadership, and who better than Tim Crawley? I mean, man, that guy, he's been there, done that, seen it all.
Seen all the tracks.
He's seen all the tracks and everything. So really love it. Really enjoyed my visit with Tim Crawley. He's a guy that I've known a little bit, and just always respected him as a racer. Met him one time years ago. USCS was over at Carolina Speedway, and met him there and chatted with him a little bit. And then last year I went over to Memphis and talked a little bit with him. And then this weekend, and it's just one of those guys that I just gain respect for him. He's just a really good person, good family, good for the sport of sprint. They are sprint car racing.
Yeah.
So let's get to our Hefner Racing product hot topics. 55th annual Tuscarora 50. Thursday night it was Anthony Macri. Friday night it was Lance Deweese. And wow, Erin, Saturday night, Anthony Macri from 19th to the win. Man.
That was very impressive.
It was, yes, very impressive.
Very impressive.
And he took the lead on lap 40. He didn't even need those last 10 laps.
Well, yeah.
That was his 20th win of the season. This is probably the biggest one of his career, though, obviously. Yeah. And to come from 19th is insane in that field. 8 All-Star wins, 8 Port Royal wins. He was followed across the line by Brett Marks and Danny Dietrich. So, again, as we near another World of Outlaw visit to Pennsylvania, they've got the Grove and then Port Royal. There's a lot
pretty impressive right now.
Speed in Pennsylvania right now. There's a lot of speed in Pennsylvania right now.
They dominated the weekend.
They really did, yeah. 68th running of the Gold Cup out at Silver Dollar Speedway. I am so excited about this. Kyle Larson won Thursday night. Carson Macedo run Friday. Saturday night, Jacob Allen, 5/100ths of a second over Logan Schuchart, his teammate and his uncle.
Oh, it was an incredible finish.
Incredible finish. Jacob has certainly come into his own. His fourth World of Outlaw win this season, 5th career. It was Jacob, Logan Schuchart, Carson Macedo. And I talked a little bit on Sunday morning at Kansas with Kyle Larson. They are ecstatic with the reaction to their development and growth of the Gold Cup. They had the glow party, which was all the glow sticks and all the fun stuff. They had the bikini contest, which was rather spectacular from a bikini contest standpoint. There was a lot of rave reviews.
Trophy girls. I haven't seen trophy girls dressed like that in a few years.
And yes, and she, yes, exactly. As Dominic Scelzi said, they tried to do a bikini contest a few years back, and I could have ran top 5, not this year. No, Dominic, you weren't going to run top 5 this year.
Oh gosh, Dominic.
But it's I just asked Kyle, and the reception to the event has been spectacular. The fans, everybody, and so it's really, really good to hear what's going on out there in California. Western Ohio, this has been a Cole Macedo year. He has done so good. Friday night, he clinched the Attica Track Championship. Saturday, he clinched the Attica Fremont Championship Series title. 9 wins this season in 410s. Attica, 3 wins. Fremont, 5 wins. Wayne County, the Linders and Ray Brooks Racing. Boy, they should have a lot of pride in what Cole has done up there. Really been good, hasn't it? It's been fun to watch.
It was fun to catch up with him a few weeks back.
Yeah, it really was.
Before Knoxville. Really was. It's neat to see him come into his own. We've talked about Carson for years. It's neat to see.
They did. Stephanie and him and someone else did the what is it? Not the talk. The challenge. The one that tortilla challenge. Yeah, whatever it is. Slap. Yeah, whatever. It is, yeah. The one that the first one I saw do it was Tim Kading and Jason Sides. And that was because they're both so bullheaded that they're never going to spit out what they have in their mouth. You know. The one with Stephanie Linder was a little different because they couldn't stop laughing long enough to keep the whatever the beverage you have in your mouth. They couldn't stop laughing long enough to keep it in the mouth, and it didn't even take a swat. They would look at each other and start laughing. I just love what they do up there, and Mike and Stephanie Linder, and love the success they had with Cole Macedo. Other winners: DJ Foose won at Attica, Greg Wilson won at Fremont, and we mentioned ASCS Sam Haferteep Jr. and Seth Bergman won at Caney Valley. There you have it, the Hepner Racing product, Hot Topics. Easy to shop their entire line. You can go to www.hrpracing.com, hrpracing.com. And Erin, they got a deal for first-time online orders.
They sure do. You can use promo code MRN at checkout for 10% off your first order.
All right, before we get into the show here a little bit, Tyler Burnett, our old buddy here, and with Flo Racing is going to join us. Tyler's our guest here today. I just want to mention the way that podcasting and broadcasting and YouTubing and Facebooking and everything is done these days. The way this thing is promoted is by you liking, you sharing, you reviewing, you doing all of those things. We've had some distribution struggles over the last portion of this year, and I think we're back up running distribution-wise on all of the platforms, all of the channels. I know some of you prefer to listen on Spotify. Some are watching live on Facebook Live. Some of you YouTube. Some of you download on iTunes. And we feel like we've got that all put together now so that these shows are getting distributed where they need to get distributed. We would ask if you like what we have on here in Wing Nation to like, to subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our Spotify channel, do whatever you need to do, and spread the gospel here as we continue on through the fall months. We got a lot of great racing coming up, and we would love to have you along for the ride for the whole time. So we do need to step away. When we come back, T-Bone, Tyler Burnett from up at Flo Racing, he joins us next.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers, whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Sage Fruit is a premium grower, packer, and shipper of Washington tree fruit. Apples, pears, and cherries, and it's always an exceptional eating experience, and they're grown in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Not only is their produce healthy, but they are grown with such care and precision that you can count on each piece of fruit having exceptional flavor. High-quality fruit, exceptional flavor, healthy snacking. Make sure when you go to your local grocery store, ask for Sage Fruit. Sage Fruit, it's our first choice for quick and easy snacking.
Dirt Empire Magazine is the ultimate dirt track racing only magazine in the world, featuring interviews, opinions, event photos, tech, and 100% racing action. Each issue includes late models, modified sprint cars, and more. Big event photos from the best photographers in the sport, and great one-on-one interviews with the top drivers as well as grassroots racers. Pick up a copy of Dirt Empire Magazine today at select Tractor Supply stores or other area retailers, or get your subscription today at dirtempiremagazine.com.
Here at Wing Nation and Mothership MRN, because so many people have kind of come and gone in our lives. And we have, because when everyone comes into life, they bring so much into our world. And then when they move on, yeah, we're bummed out about it, but yet we run into them, we follow along where they're going and where they're at. And one of those is our friend Tyler Burnett. Tyler was here at MRN, and him and Dylan Welch did the Rip the Fence podcast, and then he has an opportunity, and he's over on Flo now, doing podcasting and all-around good doobery stuff. Doobery stuff. I don't know. Well, he's a good doobie, and he's just doing all the fun stuff over on Flo Racing and does a great job with it, and he joins us fresh off from a trip to the Speed Palace, joining us on the Sage Fruit Hotline. Tyler Burnett is there. Hello, Tyler. How are you?
Postman, Erin, how we doing? Thanks for having me on.
We are doing well. Where are you at on a Tuesday morning with the Port Royal Tuscarora 50 Juniata County Fair hangover, recovery, diet plan? Where are you at on the spectrum at this point?
I decided to do the old drive to Port Royal this year, so it was like a 9-hour drive, and the final night we decided to go a little too hard with Steve O'Neill and Earl and those guys. But my friend was sober enough to drive me home that night, and I got to sleep on the way. So I ended up arriving like 9 a.m. or so at home the next day. So no, the food, oh my gosh, like you know, Postman, you know, Erin, like the food at Port Royal is just something else. I mean, the fair's going on, so you get the Sisney, the Port Royal church stand, and then you got I discovered this food truck, the taco food truck that has like empanadas and like free tacos and stuff that was incredible. I think that might be my new favorite one there.
Wow.
What about the stuffed pretzels that Kendra was talking about with you? That sounded fantastic.
Dude, the buffalo stuffed pretzels from I think there's like an Amish stand like right in the front, like right behind the grandstands, the front stretch grandstands. Like they have some amazing. It's like a very sweet pretzel. That's why it's like so addicting. Like it's like a sweet pretzel, but then on the inside it's like just gooey like buffalo chicken with like cream cheese. It's incredible. It's a really really good snack.
How did they come up with this stuff is what I wonder, because it's like when you think Tyler, you and I, we know food, okay? And I think sometimes I've seen it all, and yet you run into stuff like this. It's like, my God, that's ridiculous.
I know. It's crazy. Like, who would have ever thought you could get an empanada, like, anywhere other than, a good place? It's just like at a racetrack, you're getting an empanada, you're getting a buffalo pretzel, like, you get a turkey dinner that like rivals my grandma, what she makes at Thanksgiving. Like it's a weird thing, but that's what makes it the best.
No doubt.
That's awesome. Tyler, talk about the overall atmosphere there. Obviously, we're talking food and fair because why not? We love food and the fair going on. But the atmosphere at the Tuscarora 50, it looked like the grandstands were packed, the infield was packed. People drinking beer, Lucas Wolf debuting his Pilsner. Just talk about the atmosphere and what makes it different from other races.
That Pilsner is really good, by the way, the 5W Pilsner.
Oh, no, boy, I knew my man would have a review on that.
Yeah. Well, it's like Orange Crate Brewing or something in Syracuse, the 5W Pilsner. It's named after a sprint car. You got to love beer that's named after a sprint car, but like, no, the atmosphere. So I go to like a lot of big events during the year, right? Like that was one of the reasons why I decided to go with Flo, because I just saw the rights that they were signing and just the huge events they were signing. I mean, there's like 3 events a year that I really, really look forward to. Of course, the Chili Bowl in January, we pretty much live for that. The King's Royal, of course, which is not our race, but I still have to be there because it's my home track and you have to party, right, for a week. Right. The Tuscarora 50 is getting there. Like it's an event that you have to go to. The Saturday is it's like a holiday, right? Like it's all these people in Pennsylvania just pour in there, and you have to get there before noon or you're not going to get a parking spot. Like the atmosphere you're talking about, they're giving away free beer, like the fans are just, mingling through the t-shirt vendor row, and it just has that big race feel, right? Like, when you have a big race, like I've been to BC39 is getting that way. Like you just feel on race day this like vibrance in the air. That's a big race. And right now the big races are what's really carrying streaming. The local tracks are talking about, how, streaming is hurting their attendance. Well, if you have a big race, it's not hurting your attendance. Like big races are huge right now.
Yeah. I mean, the big events are, they certainly are. Tyler, when you look at it and then taking this a little further onto the racetrack, we just talked about this. All-Stars rolled in there, and I'm looking at the podium Saturday night, and there's not an All-Star driver on the podium. I mean, some guys that have won All-Star races, Macri's won some, Marks has won one, Danny's won them, and that sort of thing. It just looks to me like on the racetrack, the Pennsylvania Posse has some pretty good speed as well this year.
Port Royal is just a weird track, man. It's so hard to figure out. Like, I think, what was it? Freddie Raymer says that like you have to like find Jesus going into turn 3. Like if you don't drive hard enough into turn 3, you're not going to carry extra speed, into 1, right? Like, so there are like only 5 to 6 guys that can do it correctly at Port Royal Speedway, and for the most part, some of the All-Star guys just haven't figured it out. I mean, Tyler Courtney had some speed this week, didn't capitalize on it. Justin Peck had some speed this week. Courtney had 2 qualifying, fast time qualifying. You just have to get through your heat race. It boggles my mind every time I go to Port Royal Speedway and watch the 69K go around the track, and it's like, how is he making speed? Like, I don't understand how he makes speed, and it's just remarkable, and it baffles my mind every time I go there. And Macri, I know how he makes speed. He pounds the fence over and over and over and puts it all together for 50 laps, which is just ridiculous. So, like, the 69K is just mesmerizing to watch go around that place. Yeah. And then Macri, of course, is just wild hammer down. So Wagner is there. Those 3 guys are pretty much unbeatable right now. But Dietrich surprised me a lot this week.
Yeah, Danny was good as well. Tyler, it almost like listening to you describe it, and you're 100%. So when I go there, I watch that 69, and he's doing nothing that anyone else is doing except for gaining on people and passing people. Nobody else can do what he does. But I look at this thing. The other track that stands out to me that is so unique is Knoxville. There is an art to getting around Knoxville. There is a knack to getting around Knoxville. Some guys get it, some guys don't. Seems like we got a bunch more that have it right now, but it just seems like those two racetracks, Knoxville and Port Royal, there is some kind of secret recipe to get speed out of those racetracks.
Yeah, it's like the guys who are saying, like, let's have a big race at, the quarter-mile tracks and the 3/8 miles and stuff like that. Those are the guys that can't figure out how to run on the big tracks, the ones that pay the money, right? Like, like Eldora, Knoxville, Port Royal, like the greatest sprint car drivers win there, right? Like if you become elite, you have to win at those places. And that's what Port Royal has become. That's what Williams Grove is. That's what Knoxville is. That's what Eldora is. It's not easy to put an entire lap of speed together at those places. And it's remarkable to watch the guys that can do it. I was super impressed with like Gerard McIntyre. Like their team is based just out front in Port Royal Speedway on the street, and they were partying like crazy with an 8th place finish. But the funny thing is, going into the event, they are like, we would take an 8th place finish, would be elated with that, but they ran in the top 3 the whole race, and they were kind of disappointed with an 8th place finish, right? Like, Justin Whittle has some speed. Like, the locals have an advantage because they get to run at that place all week, all year long, and they get to turn it over and try to win, $60,000 at the Tusky. It's been a great event.
Yeah, well, I thought Kendra said it well when I watched your little interview with her from Port Royal, and she mentioned like there's almost 2 racing grooves at Port Royal, like a night like Friday night where it's mostly on the bottom, that the 69K is going to be the car to beat. If it's up top, there's a bunch of contenders that can run the top. Brent Marks, Macri, all those guys that are willing to pound it. But I thought it is interesting what you're saying about the bigger tracks. If you can win a race there or Knoxville or Eldora, you are a great sprint car driver.
Yeah, it turns you from good to great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can win a championship. You can win a championship like with the All-Stars or the Outlaws, winning at those smaller tracks, but like you're not going to be the highest paid driver in the country, because all the big races are on the big tracks.
Yeah. Brent. Yeah, I think Brent Marks is still the money leader. If not Donnie because of Knoxville, but it's like Brent Marks or Donnie or Knoxville. And face it, Tyler, and I know you're busy with all the stuff you do. When Brad Sweet won the Summer Nationals at Williams Grove, you'd have thought he won because it's his first win at Williams Grove. Your point is spot on. Yeah. There are these elite tracks, and some of the best that ever. Brad Sweet winning at Williams Grove is probably. I mean, he likely can go on and win the championship. That might very well be the highlight of his season because some of these tracks are just so challenging, and it's amazing. It really is. It's fascinating to get your take on it because your take actually describes pretty well what I think about him as well. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, Sweet's win at Grove that was a huge win this year because he hadn't won there for sure. But no, it's been fun. The sprint car season has been really entertaining, and I've enjoyed following a lot of the wing races and what's going on with the high limit series and all this stuff. I mean, it feels like to me, and you guys might feel the same way. To me, it feels like we're at like the twilight years of sprint car racing. Don't you think?
I agree. Yeah. Those who say the golden years of sprint car racing in the past, I don't think so. I think
not based off the big shows.
Not based on the big shows, the level of competition, the money we
Sponsors.
have, the number of teams. Everything is really, really good. One final Port Royal thing, and then I do want to talk a little bit about the high limit series and then what else you have going on. You had the opportunity, and I love when you do this. I'm pissed off that I didn't think of this. But you sit down and you go through Danny Dietrich's tweets with Danny Dietrich on video. Is there a bigger character in the sport than Danny Dietrich? A guy that has a bigger heart in the sport than Danny Dietrich, and maybe one of the more controversial guys. That has to be a fun one to put together.
Yeah, we Haley Shanley and I started that like. This is our third one, so we've been doing it for 3 years. That was my third Tuscarora 50 for Flo. That was my first event I ever worked for them back when I left, Evernham and NASCAR. So we started doing that 3 years ago, and it's just kind of taken off. And he's, during the winter, he doesn't have anything going on. and he just tweets while he's drinking, of course. So like, I try to find some of those, but then at the same time, he's had like a rivalry with Raymer this year. I wanted to get comment on. He was bashing the Knoxville Nationals, which is always, a highlight of the summer. So I had to hit all the topics, but throwing some nice and funny ones in there, and I think he enjoys doing it. After the races, he's one of those guys that. So there's a few guys. So like Robert Blue in the non-wing sprint car side, right? Like T-Mez, like Thomas Meserol,
Mm-hmm.
and I equate Danny Dietrich on the wing side as kind of like T-Mez kind of the midget guy, Danny Dietrich on the wing sprint car side, right? They're the last people to leave the pit area. They stay there and they wait for fans to come up and sign autographs. They drink beer with them. They have fun, right? Like, and I like fun. I mean, you probably know that from my pieces. So, so I usually gravitate to the guys that are fun. Now, they get in trouble, because of the comments they make. But listen, do you want the watered down version or do you want the real version? Because nowadays I like the real version.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, and you don't find it very often anymore.
No, you don't. That's why the real version is so much fun, is because you don't find it anymore.
Yes.
Not a lot of guys like Dietrich that'll take the bullets. I mean, when he's lighting up Knoxville, I'm like, dude, man, you're picking a big fight right here. It's like, but I'm more power to him, and his passion is unreal. Tyler, you mentioned it. There's one more race this year on the High Limit Series coming up at Wayne County coming up. And Flo's a big part of this. You guys have been a big part of this with Kyle Larson and Brad Sweet putting this together. I can't imagine the amount of optimism as this series has another event and then builds into its first full season next year.
Yeah, so Larson and Sweet, they own their a racetrack at Silver Dollar in Chico, and of course they had a big race this past week, but they decided to venture off into the series, sprint car series realm, if you will, and move into weekday racing. Listen, weekday racing is not just huge in NASCAR, right? Like it's probably even bigger in streaming, right? Weekday racing, our biggest audience comes Monday through Wednesday, right? Because everyone's at home. So they, taking the opportunity to race during the week and give, I would say they're giving the professional sprint car drivers an opportunity to make more money, right? A lot of the local racers, they can, like we saw a lot of the non-wing locals go out and try to race out the high limit race at Lincoln Park Speedway because it's just such good money. And if you make the feature, you make, a decent amount of money. So we will see some Wayne County locals and some Ohio locals. But really this is for some of the national guys who have to wait during the week, do nothing, play golf, whatever, to race. And now they get money, big money during the week. Right. So I'm excited to see what that series does next year. I was at Lincoln Park for the first event. It was highly successful. They did a really good job. I think they had like 33, 34 cars or something like that. I expect them to probably get some more cars at Wayne County just because you're, closer to Pennsylvania, but also you're going to hit more of those Ohio guys that have wings. So I think it's a great opportunity to, watch some sprint cars during the week. And, a lot of these guys have been clamoring for it, like Brett Marks and Brian Brown and some of these, like I said, professional sprint car drivers just want some more weekday races, and it's going to be really successful. I want to give you guys this. We've been shooting a film on Larson. I think most people know that this year. And I interviewed Mike, his dad, and he's like, this is going to be Kyle's legacy. Like this is giving back to the sport, like, Tony Stewart has done in the past and stuff like that. Like, he thinks that this is the best. This is even better than owning a sprint car team, right? Like giving back to his other peers and in the series. And I think it's a remarkable series, and I'm excited for it.
That's amazing. Tyler, do you think that that's a format they'll stick to in the future, to do these midweek races with high money, or do you think they want to have bigger vision and plans for the future?
I think the plan is to stick in the midweek races just because they don't want to compete against the other series. Like that's not the point of it. The point is to have a low amount of races, a low schedule, short schedule, almost like the extreme, midgets and non-wing sprint cars are doing, right?
Yep.
Low schedule, but have high money at those races and have them during the week so you're not competing against the World of Outlaws, compete against the All-Stars. We want they want the Outlaws and the All-Stars to both race in this series.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, there's a lot to that, and makes a lot of sense, that's for sure. Of course, there's a lot going on around that. We'll have to see how it all plays out. What's next for you, T-Bone? Where's your next adventure to?
Well, I'm trying to think. So we have some film shoots coming up in Indy and stuff like that, but I will be at Port City for Keith Toon's Give Back Classic. You know, Postman, you and I have been to that event at Millbridge. I've been supporting Keith in that event for a long time, even when we didn't have the streaming rights. Last year we didn't have the streaming rights, and you know, I think last year was the first year it was streamed. So Flo did get the streaming rights to the Give Back Classic. It's at Port City Raceway, and that's coming up at the end of October. That's a huge lead into the Tulsa Shootout. And of course, the winner of that race will get a Chili Bowl ride with Keith Toon's Motorsports if they accept it. I think the prize has got to be like $15,000. It might be a little bit more than that now if you don't accept the ride. That's huge for a micro race. So that's one of the bigger races coming up. The Castrol Late Model Series is on tonight, and that's an awesome series if you're a late model guy. But I'm trying to think of some wing sprint car races. Well, this week Williams Grove for the All-Stars and a few others, and then I think the All-Stars are heading to Fremont to finish out their season with Tyler Courtney trying to hold on to the championship. So forgot you guys are a wing show, right? I was promoting micro races and late model races.
All right, micros have wings on them.
Micros, and I'm telling you what, you know my deal, because you and I, you've been a micro guy all along. Yeah. When Millbridge went to micros, I'm like huge on it. I actually went to a standalone micro show in Pennsylvania on Thursday night at Linda Speedway. I've just become a huge fan, and it's all because of Millbridge and events like the Keith Coons Classic. And what a great event. I'm glad. And for Shane Stewart out there at Port City, man, what a neat deal. What a cool deal. That's for sure. Well, Tyler, I'm telling you what, it's always good to catch up with you, whether it's at the racetrack, whether it's the beer cooler, or whether it's here on Wing Nation. We appreciate you taking some time, and continued success. And hey, the Larson movie, what's the projected ETA? What's the plan with that? Or do you guys have that formatted or planned yet?
We're hoping in the new year that it's going to come out. You know, I'm not exactly sure on the release date. I mean, some of the edits have started, and we're getting close to completing the shooting process of it. So I'm not sure. We're hoping somewhere in the new year, and we can put it out and you know, kind of hopefully continue the series if it is successful and people watch it. So hopefully you guys are going to tune into it. It's crazy, man. They shot this thing with some amazing you know, detail and also you know, the cameras, they're like really impressive cameras, so it looks beautiful. So like, it's going to be amazing. I was going to tell you, Postman, I feel like I made it since I made it to Wing Rate Nation, right? Like I back in the day when I was producing at MRN, I told Craig, I was like, trade me shows, right? Like I'll produce Wing Nation and you produce NASCAR Live. And he was smart enough to say no. Because
there was no question at all.
Produce NASCAR Live. They'd rather produce Wing Nation. So
no doubt.
Thanks, guys, for having me on.
You got it, Tyler. It is cool. Yeah, I saw the shoot you guys were doing. Part of it you did at Millbridge, and they're rolling cameras in there that are twice the cost of the micros. I mean, I'm like, holy God, this is good. And my man Tyler Burnett overseeing it all. I'm like, well, this is kind of a scary thought, but it is good. Tyler, man, I'll tell you what. Thanks for joining us. Love you to death. So proud of you. So happy with all the projects you do, and glad to see all the great stuff you're doing on Flo Racing. Thanks for joining us here.
Thanks, guys. Erin, when you make your Chili Bowl debut, please break the news on Flo.
Well, this whole conversation came up when we were at Indy with Jeff and Ray about running the BC39. So,
there you go, Tyler.
There's still talks.
That would be awesome.
Yes,
you and Tony Kanaan as teammates.
Well, yeah, I did see his practice, his lap, so maybe I do have a chance.
Wow. It's calling out Tony Kanaan right here on Wing Nation, baby. That's awesome.
I'm not afraid of TK.
Dang, man, she ain't lost that Spitfire. Dude, she'd be on that gas. Holy cow.
Well, I mean, did you see him?
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's amazing.
God, that's definitely going to come back to me.
Oh,
sorry, TK. I love you.
There we go. Tyler, we appreciate it. Thanks, bud.
See you guys. Thanks.
There we go. Tyler Burnett, T-Bone joining us there. Man, like I said when I introduced that segment, we've had people come and go in our lives, which is natural, which is normal. Yep. Tyler Burnett, just one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And he just has a raw passion for racing and fun.
Yeah.
And isn't that really all that it should be?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand there's a lot of y'all out there making a living and everything like this, but man, he's got the blend.
And he's figured out how to make a living doing that.
And now he's in, and someone's sending him checks. My God, that's awesome. My man T-Bone, that's for sure. You know, Flo Racing is the ultimate digital home track for race fans everywhere. Subscribe today and stream over 1,300 racing live events and on-demand events. Flo Racing has something for everyone, like NASCAR Weekly Series, sprint car racing, drag racing, off-road racing, and much more. Learn more at floracing.com/GoMRN, including that upcoming Kyle Larson movie. That's floracing.com/GoMRN. Stay with us. More Wing Nation in just a moment. Circle B Diecast is the new diecast outlet from Plan B Sales. What started as a Lionel and Chase Authentics apparel distributor has grown into the largest distributor of diecast and now includes Auto World, Greenlight Collectibles, Brand Art, Sam Bass Artwork, and University of Racing lines. They have a huge inventory. The folks at Circle B Diecast love racing, and they support drivers like Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Christopher Bell, and many others with sponsorships and partnerships. On orders of $20 or more, use promo code MRN for free shipping. You can check them out at www.circlebdiecast.com.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers, whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Just like racing components, Aggressive Hydraulics purpose-builds hydraulic cylinders to perform for customer-specific applications. They design and manufacture mobile-style, single-stage cylinders as well as multi-stage telescopic cylinders. It's a no one-size-fits-all approach with Aggressive Hydraulics. Hydraulic solutions for virtually every industry that uses hydraulic cylinders. They proudly design and manufacture all cylinders in the United States. Check out the video of their story at aggressivehydraulics.com.
We are having a ball. We're so glad you joined us here on Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires, right on our strength. Thanks to Tyler Burnett from up at Flo Sports, Flo Racing, joining us here on the Sage Fruit Hotline. Really cool to catch up with him, that is for sure. Birthdays, when we look at it, our National Sprint Car Hall of Fame birthday calendar. Yesterday, Tony Bettenhausen, Armin Kruger, Ron Schumann has a birthday coming up on Thursday, and today is the birthday of one of our buddies, Frankie Kerr, a 2016 inductee into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Now, I knew a lot about Frankie, but I wasn't aware of this. He started in quarter midgets. By the time he was 15 years old, he had more than 100 wins.
Wow.
Now, that was in an era where you didn't a lot of times start racing until you were 16.
Yeah.
And so it's no wonder when Frankie jumped into full-size cars, dirt modifieds and sprint cars, he had the seat time that the kids these days have when they jump in. Jumped into a modified. He did that from the age of 16 to 22. Broke his back. Actually had a couple of weeks of paralysis.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. At the age of 22, he went to sprint cars. His parents thought it was too dangerous. They pulled funding. And he also had another crash there where he, for a second time, broke his back, but then ultimately found his stride. In 1984, he decided to push all the chips to the center of the table. He quit his job at a CNC machine shop and went racing full-time. He was a true outlaw, drove for Bob Federer, won 33 times, World of Outlaw, USA Sprint Car Series, All-Stars. And in 1989, something that he reminds Jeff Gordon of every time they see each other, he replaced Jeff Gordon in the Stan Schoff car and battened down the hatches. Firing Jeff Gordon has traditionally not been a good move. This was the one time where firing Jeff Gordon worked out well. 4 All-Star championships, 4 Ohio Speed Week championships, 3 Eldora Track championships, 53 wins in virtually every series across the country. He even went and won a non-wing Terre Haute Nationals and over 118 wins over an 18-year career. And Frankie woke up one morning on Ohio Speed Week and said, I'm done. And he walked away from sprint car racing. walked away from it as a driver. He is a huge fan of it. He's still a big supporter of it. And presently, he has a second career in motorsports, does a great job, crew chief for Alpha Prime Racing on the NASCAR Xfinity Series and Forever and Shrine. I love Frankie Kerr to death. Man, that is just one of the coolest guys. I see him on pit road. We know the deal on pit road. If we both have time, we stop and talk. We understand that maybe I have time and he doesn't. He keeps moving. Or if he has time and I don't, we keep moving because we understand that once we get talking,
it's going to be a while.
It's going to be a while. And that's what it is. And Frankie, they don't come any better than Frankie Kerr.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool. And his life is forever enshrined at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, where they have their 14th annual sprint car raffle going on. Now, Erin, tell them about that car.
It's a XXX chassis and a Royal Racing engine. You can get tickets, $20 each or 6 for $100. The drawing is September 16th, and you can get them at www.sprintcarraffle.com.
Yes, indeed. Also, check out the tribute to Ascot Park. You can become a supporting member of the Sprint Car Hall of Fame for $25. All kinds of neat stuff there. Busy week on the Sprint Car calendar, and we don't have to wait long. Tonight, the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour is at Clay County Speedway in Iowa. That is on Flo Racing. Tyler also mentioned there's some Castrol late models on Flo Racing, so I might have to pop up some popcorn for myself.
It's the biggest night streaming Tuesday night, Monday,
right.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So good stuff, that's for sure. Central Pennsylvania, Thursday, BAPS. Friday, the All-Stars are at Williams Grove. Saturday, it's that Dirt Classic at Lincoln. Man, that is a big one. World of Outlaws out west, the Tom Tarleton Classic at Hanford. Saturday night, Placerville. Fast Series, the Commonwealth Clash at Lernerville, $10,000 to win. And how about this one, Wayne County, the Pete Jacobs Memorial, $15,000 to win. Boy, a lot of money on the line over in Ohio and Pennsylvania this week. That is for sure. And Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour, when they wrap up tonight in Iowa, they are going to Lucas Oil Speedway in Wheatland, Missouri for the Daniel McMillan Jesse Hockett Memorial. So, boy, I'm telling you what, Erin, we got another month or two of a lot of racing, and then we're just going to be in that cold turkey mode. So we get these World of Outlaws back on the East Coast so we can watch the races again.
Yeah.
Spoiled, rotten East Coasters. So fun stuff, that's for sure. I know I mentioned this a little bit ago, but I do want to ask again, if you like what we're doing here on Wing Nation, like this, share this, review this, tell your friends about it, and whatever platform we are on. We've got all the distribution in place now. Everyone is up and running. All hands are on deck, and we're in good shape with it all. So you can follow along with us all weekend long. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. The YouTube page has interviews from way back to recent interviews and everything. And you can shop for Wing Nation gear at shopwingnation.com. Sky and that group has just done an amazing job with this stuff. If you're at BAPS or Williams Grove or Lincoln, you can go there and buy your items at the Tom Book Motorsports Justin Peck trailer. But if not, you can go shopwingnation.com. And I'm going to tell you, folks, they make wonderful Christmas gifts. And yes, I said Christmas. I know.
No.
But Erin, you know how things are flying by. You get all your Christmas shopping done at shopwingnation.com. And then while the rest of the world's losing their mind on that day after Thanksgiving, you could just sit back, make yourself a turkey sandwich, and laugh at everyone losing their mind because you said, I went to shopwingnation.com, and my Sprint Car fan has a perfect Wing Nation shirt coming up.
Gives me a lot of anxiety talking about holidays.
Boy, I'll tell you what, it'll be here, that's for sure. So great stuff, and we do appreciate. We have got the Tom Book Motorsports team. Wow, what a great partner they have been to us. Sky over there and everyone. Man, that's pretty good. So wherever the All-Stars are, you can check out Wing Nation gear there. Coming up this weekend on Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit, Logan Schuchart joins us to talk about the Shark Racing team and life on the road. He has done a wonderful job with it. That is on Rev TV, and then Friday and Saturday on Mav TV. Fun stuff. Really good visit. Logan is, and I won't tip too much of the hand. Logan is dabbling in the social media world a little bit more. They did a really neat video, and he thinks he's going to want to do some more of that. A la David Gravel. Speaking of David Gravel and food, did you follow his Instagram when he was in Skagit?
I don't think I did.
He should weigh 400 pounds. I mean, the food that boy consumed.
Really?
Oh, and it's spectacular, and he's preparing it like salmon and crabs, and he's preparing it too. What we need to do, Krager, now we got Krager back here. We can get things done around here. Krager, we need a kitchen right here in the front. Kitchen right here in the front.
It's a cooking show now.
And a cooking show. Bring gravel in. We can do Paulie McMahon. He's retired now. He can come in and do his tri-tip for us.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a new concept, a new idea right here. Gravel, the food he was making.
I got to go back and find this video.
Oh, I'm telling you what, it was unreal. It really, truly was. So fun stuff, that's for sure. Social media, really, really cool, and we'll be active on ours all weekend long. We do appreciate Tyler Burnett for joining us, but more important than all of that, thank you for joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
All right, you're clear.